I'm loving Leann.
I'm loving Leann.
I'm loving Leann.
I am loving Leann.
I'm loving Leann.
What's up, community? With Loving Leann. And I am here with you again another night. And I am glad that you took time to be with me. It's been a long hump day. However, we got through. We're moving forward. And come on in for your spot of tea. I know I have a horrible accent, but I keep trying. And I'm going to keep trying because I just believe in myself. So what's up? It is an amazing, wonderful Wednesday. And I am still on this journey. Right now, we are in midterm voting, and I just can't impress enough to you how important it is for you to vote. So I took a little bit of advantage and took my platform along with my need to be informed, and reached out to some candidates that are in my area. So shout out to Douglas County, Georgia, and all of you out there. I am going to help you do a little homework before you go to the polls. If you've not already gone, know that you need to go to the polls if you want to do early voting before this Friday, the 15th, or you can go on Tuesday, the 19th. Wherever, please show up. It matters right now in this time. It matters. And I will say, on behalf of all my ancestors, they shed blood so that we could. So let me tell you, we are going to get into it. Communi-Tea with Leann, Loving Leann. And I am here with Mr. Terry Searcy. I hope I said his name correctly, and he can correct me if I did not. He is out here campaigning for District 3. Which is my district, Terry. So let me tell you, I'm totally invested. I'm looking out my window and I see your sign. So I was just like, well, you know what? Let me tell him he has to earn my vote. So,
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. And I know it's been a long day for you. So I want to empower, encourage, enrich, and educate the voters on what to expect. So just being honest first, just introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are without titles. Who would your friends introduce me as one of your friends would introduce you?
Well, first they probably say that's an idiot, but no, my friends are weird. So my name is Terry Searcy. I am a father. I am a retired FBI employee. I also spent 10 years in the Navy. And currently right now, I am a network engineer at a company called Magna. And I am taking care of my sister's 2 kids. One's graduating high school and one graduated last year. So I'm finishing up for her while she gets herself together in rehab. So that seems to be my life right now.
A lot of life going on, sir.
I got a life is life.
Life is life. But congratulations. And I'll
Thank
say
you.
from one auntie mama, I had a nephew for about 3 years that
Right.
I took in and took care of. So I totally get it. I know it can prove to be a thankless job. However, the reward is definitely on the other side. So hang in there. Congratulations on those graduates.
Yes.
And so that's amazing. So you're a Navy man, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, my daddy's a Navy man. Let me put you down a point.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. So where were you based?
I was stationed in Naples, Italy, Norfolk, Virginia, and San Diego, California.
Oh, wow. Daddy was in San Diego. He always talks about it, and he is he always goes back there, but he's like, the only thing about San Diego is if I stayed there, you wouldn't have been born. So I figure, he's still one. But San Diego, he raves about his time there.
Yes,
and truly enjoyed it.
It was awesome.
Older than you, however. So
it still was a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm originally from Natchez, Mississippi. I was born in Natchez, Mississippi, but I was raised in Jackson, Mississippi, the capital, and I graduated from Callaway High School.
Okay. So do you watch there's that Real House what Bells of
I
something
know.
in Mississippi? It's real good, don't. It's so junky.
Yeah, yeah. I don't
Nothing
watch
else
it.
at that time.
I don't get to watch a lot of TV, I think, but um I am a history junkie. So I love to read and I read a lot. I love to read and watch a lot of documentaries. That's kind of that's my
Okay.
passion. So I like
So
to know what happened in the past.
what happened? Let me tell you. If you forget about what happened in the past, it will happen again. You better
You're
pay
doomed to
attention.
do it. You're doomed to
Better
repeat
pay
it.
attention. It is doomed to be repeated. Certainly. So tell me, give me a book recommendation. What will just grab my interest?
uh, I read a book by Dr. Diop. They came before Columbus. It tells you about the history of the Olmecs. The Olmecs. You know the ancient heads they found in the African heads they found in Mexico.
Okay, I don't, but
Yeah.
tell.
So there are these stone heads that are probably about 10 tons each, and they found probably about 150 of them. And they have these wide noses like we have, they have African features, and they were found in Mexico. And so no one really knows about the Olmec civilization. So Dr. Diop actually takes a journey into tracing the historic path of it. So what wound up happening was a lot of archaeologists didn't really want to deal with the Olmec civilization because it turns history up on its head. Because if the Africans were already traveling here to Mexico, coming, those coming from across the continent, then what did Christopher Columbus discover? They were already here. So, and there were certain animals and paintings and things that they had, such as elephants, and that are not in Mexico, that were being found there. So they were finding bones, and so he traced the society all the way back to Egypt and all the way back to the Essenes. So, and they came out of what we call present day Nigeria. So
Wow.
he did the history of that and the history that he remakes. And then another book will be it's a book by Dr. William Chancellor. And it's escaping me because you're asking me right now.
That's okay.
Uh,
That's okay. I'm gonna let you think of before the end of the night. You'll share with me that book.
Yes, yes.
And so, well, good. So what I can tell the people, if I had to introduce you, I'd say, hey, this is my friend Terry. He is a dad. He is a
Yes.
hardworking man. He
Yes.
stays working. He can't stay still because he thinks he's Superman, but he doesn't know that he's aging, so he needs his rest. He
You're
loves
doing
a
a very good job. I like it. I like it. Like
I
it.
could be your hype man. I'm telling you.
Yes, you could be. How much is it? But I need to know your price first.
Smart man, because it may cost you a little, may cost you a lot, but it's gonna cost you.
Exactly.
Certainly, but the candidate for District 3 for commissioner, and this
Yes,
is who
ma'am.
we're talking to. So when
Yeah.
we come back, now that I've introduced you to Terry, my friend, and he knows now the community,
Yes.
when we come back, we're going to get into why are you doing all this? Why are you doing all this? No. We're gonna find out the why factor. What's getting you going? Okay, so stay
Right.
with us. Hey guys, this is Loving Leann with Communi-Tea, and I am here with Mr. Terry running for commissioner, District 3 commissioner for Douglas County, and he's so much more. We've already found that out. So I have a new friend. Stay with me as we come back to see the Loving Leann with Mr. Terry. I have the privilege of working with Georgia injury attorneys in a capacity that encompasses the community. When you hear about Georgia injury attorneys, it's a familiar face, people that you know that you can trust. We practice litigation, but we live people.
You deserve a law firm that will level the playing field against insurance companies. Call Georgia Injury Attorneys the People's Champs for just compensation and trusted representation.
Hey guys, you know, one of my most favorite business companies, organizations, and just truly a community leader, community partner, Georgia Injury Attorneys, hands down. If you see me on the grounds with Georgia Injury Attorney, we're doing the heart work. We're doing the people work. And that's why I love Georgia Injury Attorneys. If you have the unfortunate incident on these Georgia highways or byways, hey, Georgia Injury Attorney is who you want on your side to make you whole. No fault of your own injuries, that's who you definitely want to call. And when you see me out there with the People's Champs, you know we are doing hard work. We are 10 toes down in the community, and we're super excited. Stay with us because June 13th, which is also your girl's birthday over here. Clap it up. Yes, 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 yes. We'll be doing the 5K. I Am Father 5K with David Manuel. And that 5K is about organ recipients and organ transplants and just something in the community that we do not know enough about and we just need to learn more about. So that's one of their flagship fundraisers, and Georgia Injury Attorneys is one of their sponsors. And so thank you so much, Georgia Injury Attorneys, and all of the people who support Loving Leann. And so we're back here with Communi-Tea, and I am here with Mr. Terry. Terry, did you think about that document? Did you think about that other book? I have to think about the other book. Terry. Lord, Terry.
I know. I want to say it's Behold the Pale. No, it's my God.
Don't do it. I need
sorry.
you to have that brain power because I'm about to really get into
But see, I hadn't read it. I read that book when I was 17.
Okay.
So I hadn't picked it up in a long time, but that's one of my most pivotal books.
You hadn't read that book in 5 years, I know.
Yes, I like that. That was good. Yes, I'm going to steal that.
So tell me, okay, so first for the voters, and when I talk to, I think that people that are running for office, what they can do best is educate the voters on what they're doing. We understand the presidential election. We understand the governor. We understand all these big elections, but we know that when we get boots on the ground in our community, those are the ones that really hold the power. So tell me, what does a commissioner do?
Well, the commissioner controls your property taxes. They make local laws for the county. They also control a budget of it's $200 million general fund budget, but $90 million SPLOST budget. So it's probably about $290 million. And so what we do is we fix your roads, your streets, and we maintain the most of all the government buildings around. And then one of the things that we do, we legislate your laws. That's one of the main things. We determine the land use map, how we're going to build your county out, what apartments are coming, what warehouses are coming, what data centers are coming. We determine how your county is going to be built out. And District 3 is a big part of that because District 3 and District 4 is the last land that's left in Douglas County. And that's it. We have no more. You can't produce any more land. So this election is very pivotal because the Board of Commissioners that makes up this time around is going to really set the future for the next 100 years, how they build out those last two communities. So that's very important.
And just low level me, talk to me like I'm in the 5th grade. What does that mean? Exactly what you just shared.
I'll give you a perfect example. A lot of people don't really pay attention to what every major city. I'll give you one big thing that I think a lot of people don't pay attention to. One of the things is every major city has 2 airports. So there's normally a low-cost carry out in the suburbs, and there's a high-cost carry that goes into the city. Well, there's 40,000 acres that's been commandeered in Paulding and Hiram. they're going to build a secondary airport. Probably after the governor's election, they're going to take the bonds and they're going to go ahead and finish it. They've already probably cleared off about 5,000 acres of it. And the reason that this is pivotal because Douglas County sits in between both of those. So the big boys at the state level, they already divide the state up. North gets all the computer jobs. South continues to farm. West is now known as the warehouse capital. That's why you're seeing so many warehouses, data centers, and everything that are coming into West Georgia from South Fulton to Douglas. So if we don't understand that, we're not going to know how to grow because you're going to have to fight the state on those warehouses and those data centers and all those things because we have a company here called SwitchX. SwitchX controls the internet. So how we're on the internet right now, they control the IEEE standards for the internet. So in Douglas County, Georgia, we have only 3 of them built in the entire world. And we have one, SwitchX. SwitchX controls your access to the internet. They control what they call the IEEE standards for the internet. So they determine how every corporation and everything is done. And the reason we have that is because you're going to sit in between the 2 airports. You're going to supply those 2 airports. You're going to have what you call Compass, a system called Compass that actually keeps up with inventory. You know, sort of like point of sale for those of people that know, it'll, in a small store. But Compass is a big system that a lot of corporations use right now. They probably upgraded to something else by now, because the world moves so fast. But Compass was the last thing that I knew. So if you're in the middle and you're something like UPS, Federal Express, guess what? Amazon, you're going to need a central point. That's why you're seeing all the Amazon is being built in West Georgia and in South Fulton. So one of the things that South Fulton tried to get out in front of it, and they tried to become their own city. And they got hammered pretty hard. And they got a whole lot of candidates that came over there that was from the city of Atlanta and came there because they had a big plan for South Fulton. They were part of the warehouse plan that West Georgia is a part of. So if we don't understand that, we'll only get warehouse jobs. We'll get the $17 an hour jobs. I'm not demeaning those jobs, but you can't grow. As a commissioner, my job is to ensure that your $300,000 house turns into a $600,000 house. So that means I have to give you good schools. I have to give you safety for police, fire, all of that. So in order to do that, we have to have tax revenue. Well, one of our problems is we're bringing data centers and we're bringing a lot of warehouses and we're giving them what we call tax abatements. And so some of them are getting 15 years, 30-year tax abatements. So you got Google moved here and then you got Microsoft moved here. So they're building what they call cooling centers. So there are not a lot of jobs. The data centers aren't a lot of jobs. It might be 20 jobs. The most money you're going to make, who's going to make the most money is the power company and the water company. So if we don't understand that and we don't begin to hold those companies accountable and say, hey, guess what? You have security companies, you have assets that you can bring here for our students to train them to get into the data. So the STEM program, Douglas County has something, they have a lot of blue ribbon schools. So we have a lot of, what do you call when the kids are, just toured the school, and I'm sorry, but they're blue ribbon. Yeah. So if we don't understand what's coming, we're going to get buried in what's happening. And so you're going to look up and we're Fulton Industrial. We're putting, data centers everywhere and we're putting cell towers in the back of your house, and, we're doing, if we don't have a plan for the land use map, our land use map normally dictates how a county or a city is going to grow. And that's your voice. That tells developers how to come to you, how to talk to you, and what you're going to accept. Well, we have a serious problem. Our land use map has been gutted and almost divided into 22 maps because we have people listening to developers that are their friends. They went to high school with them and they know them. And hey, buddy, that's residential, that's single family homes, but hey, I want to build an apartment. What do you think? You understand what I'm saying? And then plus you have the city and you have the county. So the city naturally has, I want to be careful how I say this. They naturally have a propensity to want to do high density development. So they want to do apartments. They want to do cluster of townhomes. They want to do that. And that's a city's mindset. So, well, what the county does is we want single family homes, and we want well-built single family homes, which means that we also have to look at our building codes also. We have to upgrade them. You know, we have to get away from the vinyl siding. We got to go to the at least full side brick, front side brick, you know, and a minimum square footage. Because right now that's kind of going off I'm trying to put a lot in at one time. So, but if you don't understand what's coming, then you don't know how to help your constituents. And I think we're at a point now where a lot of the people that are kind of in power they don't understand that the data centers are actually going to be your new banks. You're not going to be rolling up to Bank of America or the Bank of Ozark. If they just want to transition you, they'll leave a bank there to make you feel better. But everything's going to digital currency. So you're going to, the cameras, the everything that's your banking, your security from the cameras, and a lot of the robotics that are coming online, that's going to be done through the AI data center. That's why they have to have their own power source, and that's why it's draining so much. But if you're going to be forced to take the data centers, they have what they call cooling systems. The data centers don't like building them because the cooling centers actually recycle the water. So Georgia's going through a drought right now. You know why? Not because it hasn't rained in a while. It's because we've overbuilt data centers. And those data centers are sucking the water like there's no tomorrow.
Wow.
And we're not getting any rain to replenish it. So a lot of these data centers are going to have to be, either if we don't do something about it, it has to be retrofitted with these cooling centers. And they also have a problem with power. So now the power issue is going to be, it takes about, let's say 3 gigawatts, 1 to 3 gigawatts to run a superstructure power data center. That's going to basically, that doesn't sound like a lot, but that can actually probably power half of Atlanta.
Wow.
That amount. So President Trump signed a bill, an executive order that allowed them to do nuclear power on their own site or have their own power on their site. A lot of the data centers want to take the easy way out. They want to basically just hook up to the local power structure, and that saves them billions of dollars. So instead of having their own thing, now I'm at odds with that executive order because it allows them to do coal, it allows them to do nuclear, and it doesn't lay out the structure of how you're going to protect us from a nuclear fallout if these guys start playing with nuclear. And then now you're polluting the environment with the coal. So there's going to have to be a new form of energy discovered to make those things viable. And that's why I think the data centers are ahead of their time. But they're hitting a roadblock all around the United States, everywhere. And people are pushing back. And I think that Douglas County is not organized enough to push back on them yet. We haven't gotten together. So one of the things that, without being, talking way too much, get excited about it, but we're going to have leaders that understand that structure that I just explained to you. Because in the midst of that structure, building that airport, we have the opportunity to be a powerhouse. If we understand how to structure our land use map to not fight with the state and not do with this, there's a company called Johnson & Johnson, a pharmaceutical company, that's actually looking for a home now. Eli Lilly is looking for a home. There are a lot of medical companies that are looking for homes. Those are 6-figure jobs. But we're going after Amazon warehouses. We're going after cold storage warehouses. Our mind state has to change. Our mind state has to change. Douglas County makes $82.3 thousand a year per house. Guess how much Kennesaw makes? 86.8. Why don't we have what Kennesaw had? It's because we've settled. We act like when a builder comes to us or a developer comes to us, oh my God, we're so happy. No, Kennesaw don't do that. Smyrna don't do that. You come to them with some junk, they're gonna tell you to kick rocks. Excuse my plain language, but they're gonna tell you to go. They're gonna be like, get out of here. So one of the reasons our property taxes is going through the roof is because you're being asked to subsidize those tax abatements that we've given away.
Wow.
No major corporation that we brought here is paying, they're paying what they call pilot taxes. So now imagine a company like Medline, they have a 30-year tax abatement. We would normally get $1.5 million a year from them. We get $110,000 a year. That's a pilot taxes. That's for the employees. So all those great companies that the politicians tell you they done brought, Google, Microsoft, all of them that they're bragging about, you're only getting pilot taxes from them. Wow. So guess what? Guess who's making up for that difference? You are.
Of course we are. Of course we are. Of course we are. That seems to be the narrative through everything. That's the how we're playing it. But you've given us a lot of information. I want you to hang tight.
Okay.
Give me a moment.
Okay.
And we're gonna come right back. So hang tight with me. Hey, Terry has just dropped all kinds of knowledge. I didn't even get to write my stuff down. So you're definitely gonna need to listen to the replay. But hang tight, Communi-Tea, part 2. Hold on. This is your girl, Loving Leann, and we'll be right back.
I'm loving Leann.
I'm loving Leann.
I'm loving Leann.
I am loving Leann. I'm loving Leann.
You know how it is. We had to do a little switcheroo, but I'm working on it. And we're still here with Terry. Terry has given us so much information about about a lot of stuff. I have to regurgitate, digest all of that. So that was so deep. Like I felt like I needed a dictionary and all that good stuff, but it was good information, and it is worth us researching and getting more information. So we know that Douglas County is kind of working in we're big fish in small ponds, maybe. And you are saying that our government needs to grow. We here as a community needs to grow and stomp with the big dogs. Is that what I heard?
Yes, we need to change our mind state and understand that we're a bigger part of the state's plan than we understand. We think we're just little bitty Douglas County, but there are guys in places, politicians and corporations in places that are looking at West Georgia as a pivotal part of their bigger plan.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we need to understand that so we'll know how to move.
So we need to know our worth.
Right. It's like I said, and many people have heard me say it before, and I'm going to keep saying it until people hear me. The dollar in Douglas County only circulates 8 to 12 times.
Mm-hmm.
The dollar in Fulton County circulates 28 times. The dollar in Gwinnett and Cobb circulates 32 times. So the problem is they're creating millionaires and we're not creating any business entrepreneurs. Our entrepreneurs are struggling because when you think of something nice, most people think they have to leave, to go somewhere nice. So that goes back to, and we probably hadn't talked about it, but that goes back to Emily Leitner's trying to put together it's called the CAC, a Community Arts Center. So she's asking for $60 million, and Emily's going to get mad at me, but I think that's too much. But I think we need to pare it down and understand what we're trying to build. So they're trying to revitalize downtown Douglasville.
Mm-hmm.
The city's trying to carry the bulk of it, and she's got a lot of money to raise. The good thing is Kimberly New or one of the state representatives got her $200,000 to begin a program. But if you look at Gwinnett, if you look at Cobb, and you look at a lot of the other places, they have decided that the arts is going to be a big part of their downtown.
Mm-hmm.
They've decided because, I look at this as, I look at podcasting, I look at singing, and I'm not saying you guys are entertainers or anything, because you're a reporter, you're an investigative reporter. I'm assuming, I think I heard you say that earlier.
I'm a media personality. I am a journalist.
Right. So I don't want to tie you in, with a singer or something like that. You understand? Because journalism is very important. So I think it's an art that's dying that we need to revive, especially investigative journalists. Corporations have basically watered down the news and everything to where they control it pretty much now. So one of the things that I think that we're going to have to do, we're going to have to make a serious investment in art, because when you do the arts, what comes with the arts? Chefs, everything, mom and pop restaurants. If you go around Gwinnett, Cobb, Fulton County, they don't have a lot of chain restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of, eateries that you've never heard of, that are like mom and pop eateries, like the Palmas and Soto, and you understand what I'm saying? So, I think until we get into that mind state, we're going to forever be looked at as that's Douglas County.
Right.
Just think about the way I said that. That's Douglas County.
Mm-hmm.
But if I say I'm going to Smyrna or I'm going to Vinings, that's a different vibe.
Mm-hmm.
See, we're missing that vibe when they say Douglas County. What does Douglas County have that'll make you get that spring in your step and say, "Oh, girl, I'm on my way to Douglas County. I'm about to go out to Douglas."
Okay.
No one's saying that about Douglas. You know what I mean?
Got it. Well, okay. So let me tell you, as we wind down, and you've given us great information, and thank you. I know that I can hear a little bit about some of the concerns that you have with our current leadership and in Douglas. So I always like to, I know that there's two sides of every coin.
Yeah.
So tell me what keeps you in Douglas? What about Douglas personality, what they've done well so far that shines that great light on Douglas County?
Douglas County has some of the most beautiful natural structures that are here. And one of the things is it's still considered a bedroom community. So me coming from a small town, there's still fishing, hunting. It still feels like a small town. So that's what kind of keeps me here, even though it's kind of changing at a faster pace than I would like. But District 3 and District 4 still gives you the small town atmosphere in a bedroom community. So that's one of the big things. And a lot of it's natural scenery. We have some of the most beautiful views. The Sweetwater Creek State Park, the Dog River, and we have so many natural streams and rock climbing areas and stuff like that. So a lot of outdoors fun. So that's what kind of brought me here, and that's what I liked about it. And I think they're doing a great job in protecting that. So that's something that I really, 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 really like.
Perfect. So I'm as a citizen of Douglas County and District 3,
Yes.
I need to call you when there's a sinkhole in the roadway.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm-
So, so tell
yes,
me
I'm the
more.
one you're talking.
Okay. And how do I access my commissioner? Where are you? Where are you housed? How do I get in touch with you?
Well, right now they're housed in the courthouse, the Douglas County Courthouse. They're trying to find a space for them, but on the DC, the Douglas County page, each commissioner there's a tab on the page. If I remember correctly, it's elected officials, and it'll go under, and then you have pictures of each commissioner and their office number, and their email address, and then you can reach out to them that way.
Commissioners have to live do they have to live in their district?
No, you can call
No.
any commissioner. You can call any commissioner.
So your District 3 commissioner say,
Yeah.
but you don't necessarily live in District 3?
I live in District 3. You have to live in District 3.
Okay, that's what I was at. So you have to live in the district that you oversee.
Yes, but any constituent can call any district commissioner. But some commissioners will tell you, call your commissioner if they don't want to talk to you.
I understand. Hey, well, the wrap up here, Terry, you have been great. Thank you so much. I do feel like the information was mighty, and that I can definitely, I'm ready to research all the information that you gave me. I've heard data centers. I didn't really know the personality of Douglas County as far as how you broke it down. What's at west, east, and north and south, from technology to the warehouses. That was just bountiful information, and I thank you for that. So I'm going to let you close it out. Tell the people, this is your time to look in the camera and tell the people why they should select you for Commissioner 3, District 3 for Commissioner for Douglas County.
District 3, I want to say hello, and I want to say you've probably seen me all over the place, but one of the things that we have to do, we really have to understand that it's time to have someone that's going to serve you. You've had people that have ruled over you and made decisions without you. It's time to have someone that's going to listen to you and answer your call. I want to be that person. There's a change in the atmosphere and everyone feels it. Well, guess what? I'm that change. I am the new breed of politician that's going to serve the people that they were designated to serve. And if you want someone that's going to be responsive, you want someone that's going to come sit in your living room and answer your call, then I am the one. And I ask for your vote. May 19th is the primary. You can vote all the way up until this Friday for the early voting. And after that, I hope to be your commissioner. And guess what? District 3, we're going to take off. We're going to be fabulous.
Well, thank you so much, community. You heard it. Terry said, listen, what the community does is hold you accountable. So if you get this seat, we're gonna be saying you said, and
That's
I
it.
live over here, so I'm gonna be like, you said.
I expect nothing less.
So we will hold your feet to the fire, but we want to learn more. And however this race works out for you, I do feel like you're a community man. You have why factors as you're raising your young people over there, and they're getting to see a great representation of a great person and how they should be part of their community, how they can make the change that we all hope to see. So thank you so much for being with me for this short time. If you want to hang out, I have a beautiful lady, Ms. Dondell, in the back, and she is about to come on, and I'm going to talk to her for a little bit. So feel free to hang out or just keep watching, whatever you want to do. But Terry, thank you. Lastly, just tell the people how they can get in touch with you if they had last minute questions or whatever.
You can reach me on Facebook, Terry Searcy on Facebook, and on Instagram and TikTok, committed to elect Terry Searcy 2026.
Thank you so much. So we're going to go on a brief break. When we come back, hey, Loving Leann's going to do what Loving Leann does, and I'm going to be asking the questions about the upcoming election. I hope that you have already voted, or going to vote before Friday, or going to be at those polls on Tuesday, May 19th. We'll see you right back here. Stay tuned. I have the privilege of working with Georgia injury attorneys in a capacity that encompasses the community. When you hear about Georgia injury attorneys, it's a familiar face, people that you know that you can trust. We practice litigation, but we live people.
You deserve a law firm that will level the playing field against insurance companies. Call Georgia injury attorneys the people's champs for just compensation and trusted representation.
I'm Loving Leann.
I'm loving Leann.
I'm loving Leann.
I am loving Leann.
I'm loving Leann.
Welcome back, family, to Communi-Tea. And this is where we are going to give you all the tea about politics here in Douglas County, or at least our upcoming elections. But you know, when we come informing, enriching, empowering, and educating. So that is what we are here for. Your girl, Loving Leann, absolutely loves you, and so grateful that you could join me tonight. So I want to introduce you to one, because she's a busy lady, but she is doing amazing things. Miss Dondell Patterson, running for Chief Magistrate Judge of Douglas County, and we're excited to have you. Thank you for taking my call. Thank you for talking to me. It's been a pleasure already. So welcome.
Thanks. No problem. You know, everything's coming to a close. I'm still working full time at my current job that pays me. So trying to, prioritize things and get things together. I'm a sports mom as well. So it has been a lot, but I am here and I am ready. So yeah, let's
get it, right? Let's get
do
it. Okay. So first of all, how's your day been? I just got to ask because I care.
Yeah, well, it's been okay. I am currently in the process of bringing on some new attorneys in my office. So we've been having a lot of interviews, and then just my daughters are sports girls. So one is playing volleyball, one is playing softball. So one had some softball tryouts. So it's been a day. And then it's not helping because my allergies are still kind of, I feel like out of whack. And so I took a Zyrtec, and that's kind of got me a little loopy or whatever, but I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. It's all part of the process. I fully expect this to be hard work. So I was ready for it when it started. I am just happy to be coming to the end of the process. But it's been fun. This has been interesting and very fun for me.
Well, I can tell you the commonality of all the candidates that I've spoken with so far is like, I'm ready for the end. I'm
Yes,
ready for
yes,
it, however it
absolutely.
shakes out. I'm ready for it. And I totally understand. Thank you for putting yourself in a position to want to serve. I definitely don't take leadership and leader servants
Hmm.
lightly.
Right.
I know that's huge when you take on other people's life and other people's burden. That's just a huge feat. And to step into it and say, hey, I want to do it, it says a lot about who you are. So thank you, and thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I don't know if you heard, but so this is a little self-serving. I am a citizen right here living in Douglas County. I've been here,
Awesome.
yes, just over a year. So I was just like, while I get some tea, I'm going to get some information for me. I'm going to make sure when I go to the polls, because a lot of times we look at the ballot, names that ring, some familiarity.
Yes.
Or, my friend said, or my party line. And I do none of that. I need
Good.
people to
Yeah.
stand up, show up, and do exactly what they said they were going to do. And their values line up with my values.
Mm-hmm. That's important.
Yes, ma'am. So here we are. Tell the community a little bit about yourself, stuff that we can't read in your bio.
So, I don't know. So a lot of people know me because of my involvement mainly with my girls and my family and the community. But initially I moved to Lithia Springs in 2007 when I graduated from law school. And I lived in Lithia Springs for about 2 years. And then I got a job in the city of Atlanta. So I moved to Atlanta for a while, but I knew that I wanted to come back to Douglas County to raise my family. So then I moved back to Douglas County when I got married, and we started a family. We wanted to raise our girls here. Our girls were actually going to school in Douglas County while I was living in Fulton. So I needed to transition back. And so I tell people all the time, before anything, I'm a wife and mom. And then I'm an attorney and community advocate. I feel like all of those things work together for me. Because before my girls even started off, I was heavily in the community because I'm in a sorority. I was raised on service. I went to a school that required you to do service. It was part of the curriculum. And so I went to undergrad at Tuskegee. They were huge on community outreach and engagement. I went to law school in Michigan. And so when I came back and I started serving, that was the first thing I wanted to do, was be involved in the community. But for me, I didn't know what it would look like as far as prosecutor or public defender or defense side. I just knew that I wanted to be in the community, once because I really wanted the courtroom experience. And the best way to get the courtroom experience is either going to the prosecutor's office or going to the public defender's office, and you're in court every day. And so I knew I wanted that. And so I've been doing that now for 19 years. And people always say, in public defense or when you're a defense attorney, you get burnt out and you don't want to do it anymore. But for me, it has been ever changing, and it has been rewarding, because you may be able to read this online or whatever, but my practice is a holistic defense practice. And a lot of people don't know what that is. But when I started there in 2009. Oh my gosh, yes, I started there in 2009. And when I first started, we had a staff of 8 attorneys, a total staff of 20. That included our investigators and support staff. But we were handling about 35,000 cases a year. Yep. And I was like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? But at the same time, I knew that I wanted to be in the courtroom. I wanted to make a difference. So I was like, hey, I'll take it. But what ended up happening was we realized that we couldn't properly represent that many people with that small amount of staff, right? So we went to council members, the mayor, and we were like, look, we need to triple the size of our attorneys. And in that moment, we went from 8 attorneys to 21 attorneys, because we felt like the only way to give proper representation was to slow down the process. A lot of times people talk about backlogs and caseloads and things like that. You're only one person. You will burn out really, really quickly if that's the way you handle things. And then people become a number. So for us, it was like, look, we want to touch people holistically and offer them different services. So we have social workers and client advocates, and we provide wraparound service and all the good things. outside of the legal issue, right? So we deal with the legal issue, and then if they have an underlying issue, we try to provide resources for that underlying issue, try to get to the root cause of why the person is there in the first place. But in doing all of that, I realized how important how important it was for our attorneys to be in the community. So when I got promoted, because I moved up the ranks in my office, I was a staff attorney, then I was a senior attorney, then I was a supervising attorney, and now I'm the deputy director. So yeah, been there all that time. Then listen, and me and my colleagues, we actually talked about it today in an interview, and I'm like, yeah, we've been here way too long. Because for me and another guy who's a deputy as well, we've been there for almost 17 years. And my boss has been there for almost 20 years. So we found something that works and that we actually enjoy. So it was like, it's not that bad when you actually enjoy what you do, right? But in doing all of that, I made it it's actually a requirement for everybody in my office to do outreach and engagement. From receptionist to investigator to our data entry clerks. Wow. Everybody has to do community outreach and engagement. And we tell them this in the interview. This is a part of the job, because the first time you see us should not be in the courtroom. If we are community servants, if we are advocates for the community, we need to be out in the community. So my holistic defense practice has been amazing. I was a part of the design team, so it's like my baby came and grew and continues to grow, and we've been able to speak to other jurisdictions about it and why it works, what doesn't work, and how you have to, just treat the person as a human and all those good things. And I think that part of my practice carries on into why I decided to run for chief magistrate judge, if that makes sense. So that I'm excited about. I tell people all the time, even though I have been working in Atlanta for the most part, I have close ties to Douglas County, first of all, because I'm raising my family here, but also because people don't realize, like, Atlanta is literally 20 minutes from 20. And I'll tell you this is so interesting. So about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago, we had a client who we frequent, and we provided him resources for years. He ended up passing away. And when the funeral home called me, it was the Willie Watkins in Douglas County. Okay. And they were like, can you bring us close? And I was like, yes, I live in so I tell people all the time, even though people say, oh, Atlanta is Atlanta, this is Doug. No, it all works together. And you just never know. I've been in spaces where we have referred people to services in Douglas, and I've had people come from Douglas and get referred to services in Atlanta. So I heard what Terry was saying a little bit about, we have to think this is not still small town. Douglas County is growing, and we have to be able to treat it that way. And we have to be able to move that way, because it's not going to wait for us to catch up.
Absolutely. Time is waiting for no man. And we see that how quickly we're already here in the middle of May. And I feel like we just said, Happy New Year,
yesterday.
So yes, exactly. So it's moving at a rapid speed. So tell me, when was that moment? And what was that thing where you were like, this is what I'm going to do, and this is why I'm going to do it. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to run for chief magistrate judge, and this is why. What was that one why that all those other no's in your head, like, don't do it, girl, don't do it, was just like, why?
Listen, it was so many no's in my head saying don't do it, because I'm already a busybody. But for me, I think it became necessary more so than anything. I tell people all the time, I've never run a political campaign. I'm not a politician. I'm a mom who cares about the community where I'm raising my children. So when the process was going through with the appointment and all those things, I felt like the person who needed to be in the chief magistrate spot needed to be somebody who had the experience to be a chief magistrate. Okay. And let me tell you why. So about a month ago, I was going to a luncheon in Douglas County. I can't remember what luncheon it was, but I met the prior chief magistrate, Susan Camp, in the elevator. Okay. And I introduced myself to her, and she was like, oh, I know who you are. And we started to talk. And a lot of things she said to me was, one of the issues that she had when she was chief magistrate is that she just didn't have enough judges. And because there were so many cases, she didn't have enough judges, and she would ask for judges and she would be told no and all the things. So I was like, that kind of reminds me of a lot of what I went through in the city of Atlanta when we had 35,000 cases and 8 attorneys. And it was literally like, okay, let me show you the data. Let me show you why it doesn't make sense to not give us more attorneys. And we're doing a disservice to the people for not giving, if you don't give us more attorneys, right? So when I thought about all that, I was like, look, a chief magistrate needs to know how to first balance the budget. If you can't balance the budget and you can't explain to the commissioners and the mayor and all those people why you need more judges, then they won't give it to you. You have to be able to create your budget and explain what data and statistics and things like that, why those things are needed. So I was like, okay, I've been doing that. I actually have my budget hearing tomorrow in my current job. So I've been doing this for years. Budgets.
Okay.
I've been in the courtroom. When I first started practicing, I practiced in Paulding County. I did felony work. I was in the courtroom all the time, and I went from doing felonies to misdemeanors to city ordinance violations, traffic, you name it. I've done it all. So for me, it was like, you need to be a person who has that courtroom experience. You know, evidentiary, objections. You know how to lay the foundation. You know how to courtroom is what I could tell my new attorneys. So for me, I was like, look, if I'm going to. Let me back up one step. I said to myself, if the person that is in the position, if I felt like that person was ready to roll and had the experience, I would not run. This is literally what I felt. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'll sit back, I'll wait, whatever. And I feel like while my opponent is very capable, I still feel like there are certain things that's needed as far as experience wise to be able to successfully run a magistrate court. Mm-hmm. And I tell people all the time, for me, magistrate court is the people's court. The offenses are so low level to us, but for that person, it's huge.
Absolutely.
And $15,000 for a lot of people is huge.
Absolutely.
So for me, I feel like you have to know the necessary things in order to successfully run that court. I mean, you have people looking at you saying, oh, that bond is not high enough, or you put too many restrictions on it. You need to know how things move, and you need to know the seriousness of things. And I think sometimes knowing and having that human touch for almost 19 years is a big difference when you're a chief magistrate judge. So that's why I decided to run. And I tell my girls all the time, I'm like, look, if you want something, you go for it. I fully support you. Mommy has your back. I can't tell them that if I'm afraid to do it. So I had to be the example. Yeah.
Certainly. And I am sure they are super, super proud. And one of my questions down here was, because I knew that you had some young people, was, and this is just to break the monotony for a minute, what's the most embarrassing thing that one of your children have either said to you or did?
Oh my gosh.
He's like,
I have girls, so they do stuff all the time. Like, it's bad. My oldest daughter, Lord, she calls me out on everything. And I feel like sometimes we have to battle it out. I'm like, come on now. But the other day she told me, she was walking behind me and I had a hat on. I had been out in the community, and it's starting to be hot outside. So I had a hat on and I took my hat off. And she was like, ooh, the gray hair. And I said, this is wisdom. This is wisdom.
The phrase I hear, keep living. Just
listen. And you will see it. And you will see it. And it was crazy because I'm like, well, usually I can cover it up or spray a little something or whatever. And she was like, I'm going to take a picture of it. She gets behind me. She takes a picture of it. She's like, Mommy. And I was like, okay, remember this. Remember this day in 20, 30 years when I'm going to stand behind you and I'm going to take a picture of all your gray hairs.
Right.
But they have been very supportive. We sat down and we had to talk, very early about, look, Mommy's getting ready to do this. This is new to Mommy. This is new to the family. And my husband and my children have been very supportive of everything, but they'll come for me. They will.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, you may be ready, because if you can deal with teenagers with all their uneducated critiques, I don't know if anybody is ready. You know what I'm saying? They can come and throw the whole sink at you, and you'll just be like, honey, I answered that last night.
I'm like, sometimes can you just let me breathe? Just let me be. I just want to be, but they don't allow me to. So
no, keeping you on your toes. Well, that is amazing, because you are definitely going to have to be on your toes for this position. And so we want to talk a little bit about, so break down to me. I do know that I do know a little bit about magistrate court. But what I tell people, and you may have heard me tell Terry this, I do believe that people running for offices can do better when they truly educate people on what they're voting for, not even who you're voting for. Right. These are the metrics. These are the standards. Look for this. This is what happens. This is what they're responsible for. This is what you can hold them accountable for. Right. So you just give us a little class on magistrate.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So magistrate court, what's funny is that when I first became a lawyer, that was the first court I went to in 2007. But anyway, when I first became a lawyer, we had to go to magistrate court every other week for preliminary hearings and bond hearings and things like that. So for most people, it's like the first contact they have with the judicial system, right? So you have warrants. You have to be able to make sure those warrants are vetted, and that you're just not signing away the right for somebody to just expose somebody for all the wrong reasons, right? So you have warrants, you have bond hearing and preliminary hearings. So when you go through those bond hearings and preliminary hearings, you're trying to decide, okay, I understand you've been charged with these things, but what type of bond am I going to give you? And with that bond, am I going to put conditions on that bond? Am I going to say, oh, you got to have a drug and alcohol evaluation because you got charged with a DUI? Things like that take place in magistrate court. Then you have landlord-tenant housing type issues. Your dog bit the neighbor. That will come in magistrate court. Let me think. Oh, small claims. Anything under $15,000, magistrate court. So if you're suing somebody, they worked on your car and it stopped working after they worked on it, or it's even worse, you can come to magistrate court for that. So it's just like, that old show back in the day, like the People's Court, we have small claims. We're
Judge
coming.
Lautner, yes.
That part, yes. And so, but it can be heavy. The volume can be so heavy because it's so many. And Douglas County is continuing to grow so much every day. So with that, it's like everything but the kitchen sink could end up in magistrate court, even on just a lower level, because after you set that bond, that case may end up in state court, but it still had to start out in magistrate court. Got it. Yeah.
So that's a lot. So when you say Douglas County, one, needs more judges, did I understand that?
Yes.
So as the chief magistrate judge, you would go to who to petition for that or to fight for that?
You would go to your commissioners. Oh, and you would say, yes. And you would say it's almost the exact same thing I did with the city of where I'm at now. It's like, okay, let me create a plan. Let me show you why this is necessary. And then you go and you ask for the money. But you have to be very detailed in that, right? They're not just going to throw some money at you just because. But I think when you show them, look, there's a backlog, or we're having so many more cases because the population has increased. We need more judges because of that. And it may not even be full-time judges. It may be part-time judges just to kind of lower the load on the front end. And eventually you may not have to use them only as needed, but you do need more. And I say that because when I do the comparison, which is interesting. So Fulton County, which of course is a lot larger than Douglas, right? But they have about 9 full-time magistrate judges, and they have about 12 part-time.
Oh, okay.
So think about that.
Okay. Yeah.
Huge difference, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like they have a chief magistrate, and this chief magistrate judge has almost 20 judges under her that work different times in different cases. Now, I'm not saying we need that much. We're not nearly as big as Fulton County, but do I think that we need something so we can slow the process down, make sure all of the citizens need to feel heard? That's important to me. When you walk in court, you need to feel heard. I'm taking my time. I'm listening to all of the facts of your case, and then I'm making a decision because I took my time, right? So I say that, we need, and I wouldn't be able to do a full assessment until I'm in there and I see what's really happening. But I know for a start, we need more judges. I never want people to feel rushed. And look, $15,000, I still consider $15,000 a lot of money. Somebody may consider it small change. But if I'm coming to court and I'm fighting over my 15 grand, I need to be heard.
I need to be heard, and I need you to run me my money.
Yes,
yes, my money.
Yes, absolutely.
No, I get it. And I guess it was 2 years ago, I moved out of an apartment complex, and I needed to sue them.
Mm-hmm.
And I did feel I felt I didn't get, let me say, how can I say this? The outcome wasn't what I wanted in that space, because I needed to do some more legwork. A lot of legwork. The court system is a big, I mean, depending on who you're going up against, you could lose your shirt just in the fight.
Absolutely.
However, I felt like the judge said, I'm going to, what is it? It's without prejudice.
They dismissed it.
Yes. So I could come back. Did I do that right?
Yep.
But what I did feel, and this is what I hear you saying, is when I went out in there, like I said, the outcome wasn't what I wanted. And I had to decide, and I still can decide, if I want to continue to fight. But he said, I heard you, Miss Foster. It's legitimate, Miss Foster. My hands are tied right here. So go do this. But the thing about it is, at the end of the day, I did not feel like I was beaten up by the judge. I didn't feel like it was just like, so I'm totally a people person, and a person that is all about how somebody feels when they leave your presence.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Makes
I hear
a huge
that.
difference. Yeah.
It makes a big difference. Yeah. So tell me a little bit. I know you're in the city of Atlanta. And so with the city of Atlanta, tell me some of just the practices, some of what you learned that you're just like, I definitely, as chief magistrate judge in Douglas, I'm bringing this over.
Yeah. So first and foremost, I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly with judges, right? I've worked in several courthouses and jurisdictions, and so I've seen a lot. But one thing I do value is judges who are efficient, right? Court starts at 9. I'm on no later than 9:15. I'll give people time to trickle in, but at the end of the day, people have to go to work. They have to pick up their kids from school, all the things. So let me be efficient and let me consider your time, right? First thing. Second thing, you got to know the law. And if you don't know the law, it's okay to say, give me a minute to make a decision. Let me make sure I get it right. Because in my office, we will appeal any and everything that is decided. We feel is wrongly decided. And so to avoid that, just know the law just know it off that, because if you don't, somebody will appeal you. I mean, and you have to come with it. You have to come with your evidence. You have to come with the law to back that up. So knowing the law, being efficient, and being approachable. How many times have people said, oh my God, I walked in that courtroom and the judge with the black robe was just staring at me, and I felt so small and I felt so nervous. People should not feel like that. No. People should feel like, and I listen, don't get me wrong, take it seriously. This is a court of law. This is serious issues. But I should feel comfortable enough to be able to come in and plead my case. If I don't have an attorney, you have an attorney, the attorney does it all for you, right? But if I don't have an attorney, I should be able to come in and plead my case. So for me, it's like, be approachable, be efficient, and know the law. If you know those things, you're a great judge. I think a lot of times when people are not nice, it's because they don't know what they're doing. And that's based on what I've seen. Because I feel like you don't have to be mean, and you don't have to be condescending and look down on people just because you have that robe on. You should be relatable. And my years in Atlanta has taught me that, because what I see in Atlanta with the population every day is Douglas County has some of that population, but not on that scale, right? But it literally can come down to you just talking to somebody and making them feel like a human that can change their lives. It really can. I mean, we've had clients in my practice. I'll tell you a little bit. My practice, we do most of our work in Municipal Court of Atlanta, but we also have an immigration practice where we are reaching to people. If you are not a citizen, then we tell you all of the potential consequences it could be for you if you were to enter a plea. So we do Padilla advisories. We have immigration attorneys in our office. We have DUI attorneys. We have an appellate practice. So we have a lot of things to kind of wrap around a client that most jurisdictions don't have. But we felt the need because, like I said, we want people to feel like, look, you're a human. So if we can provide that resource, we should be able to provide that resource. And that came into, making sure people feel that you're approachable and things like that. So when I look at all the things I've learned in Atlanta and practicing there for so long, let me say this, I also practiced in Paulding County at the beginning of my career. So I've been a couple and Clayton County.
Okay.
So I've been a couple of places, but I feel like I've learned the most because we were able to offer so much.
Mhm.
And actually make people feel like a person. Like, hey, you're not just another case number. You're not just a client on my list, Mr. Jones. Let's see what I can do for you. Just calling them by their name, making them feel like you care. That makes a big difference.
Absolutely.
And honestly, it'll make a difference sometimes whether the person decides to get help or not. If you just say, I care, let me hold your hand a little bit. Now, it's different, when you get in the judge role, right? But when I'm in my role right now, I can do the hand holding and I can say, hey, you need this resource. Let me try to lead you to it. It's up to you ultimately at the end of the day, but let me try to lead you to it. But how I translate that into magistrate court is if you're in front of me and I have to give you a bond, right? Okay, I can give you a $10,000 bond. But what else is there that we can do to make you a whole person or make it so you don't come back into this courtroom again? So let's address that issue. I think a lot of times we're so caught up on, okay, this is what I'm here for. This is the bond, move on. But no, like people are really dealing with a lot of stuff right now. Yeah. And if we could put the resources in place to address those things, I think that everybody feels better about it going forward. Because what we realized, for as long as we've been doing what we've been doing in Atlanta, we realized that addressing the client at the root actually does help public safety.
Absolutely.
They don't come back.
It makes sense.
They don't come back into the system. So that's one person that is not a part of the circling rotation of recidivism. If I can address that need, then I don't have to see you again. If I can give you the resources, I don't have to see you again. So I think it all plays into what you could do in the chief magistrate role.
Certainly. I feel so. Loving Leann is my name through and through. And I'm just like, oh, I want to hug her. Because I do. And I say this all the time. People don't care how much you know until they know that you care.
Yes.
I don't care how many degrees you have, and then be clear. There's some people that come in and they're just like, I don't care about your black robe. I don't care who you are. But when you can humble a person, and sometimes that's just, and I'll tell a little story. I used to drive and this is just how our minds work. So for a while, I tried to do Uber and Lyft, but girl, I couldn't do it because somebody got in there with a dog. And back in the day, you could not, I've stopped. The dog was the last part.
Oh,
but
no.
They would make you, if you declined a ride because of a dog, when the people said it was a service dog, there was a whole bunch of issues. But the last time that dog, I could hear the claws on my seat. I was just like, I'm so done with this. I am so done with this. However, what Uber taught me driving is I would be, and this is a community thing, okay? So we're on Community Tea. So I would pick up people that look like me, that look like my nephews, and automatically I would come into this clenched fist nervousness. Now I'm all about safety. So I'm letting people know where I am and my loved ones. But it would just be like when I would see my babies, my nephews, my, people that could be my sons, I would start posturing like I was nervous. And then when I said, don't do that. Because you're talking to Trayvon, Maurice, you know what I'm saying? These are my babies.
Yes.
I would get those young boys in the car and I postured differently. And I talked to them like they were people. Well, how are you? What's going on with you? Where are you going? I'm telling you, those were the most pleasant rides.
Yes.
They were, and I just said, we have been so conditioned. Fear. And I was just like, no, that's not what I was. And so I'm about, and I know that seems so far-fetched from being on the bench and everything, but
It's not far-fetched at all. It's still a human factor.
Posture yourself to love people, and most people will love you back, at least feel the love. They may, Maya Angelou, they may not remember your name, might not remember what you said, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. And so there's some boy that I picked up out there, a young boy, he's probably 25 now, and he's just like, oh no, that Uber driver, she was so weird, but she was funny, but she made me feel good. So that's it.
It really does make a difference.
Yeah, it's all about how we interact with each other. I'm so huge on that. And we need people on the bench that do that. So now I ask you, what would you take from the city of Atlanta to incorporate in Douglas? Now, what would you leave? Because I know anywhere you go, you have your pros and cons. You have things that are great, and then there's areas of opportunity. What are something that you would say, you know what? I know that if I could be in this position of change, that I would definitely do what?
So I think first and foremost, I'll start off what I would leave, right? I moved to Douglas County because I wanted the feel of Douglas County. It's big, but it's not huge like Atlanta, right? So I would definitely leave that feel because it can become, with the number of cases and things cycling through, it can become a lot. And sometimes you just got to take time and pause and be like, okay, you got this. It's not that bad. It seems like a lot, but it's not that. So I could leave that, right? I could leave that because I feel like I can say smaller in comparison, right? And Douglas County is not as fast paced. One thing I would love to bring is the community aspect, right? Now, I know I can't tell other sitting judges, you have to go into the community, right? But that's already sitting right now. But if I were to bring on more judges in a part-time or full-time role, I would say, listen, community outreach and engagement is a part of the job here. I never want people to see you the first time they're in court. They should know who you are. And for me, like a lot of the things I have done has been surrounded around the youth or donations and things. A lot of that has been mostly young people. But these people are watching you. So when they see you in those spaces, if they ever have to see you in court, it's a different level of respect for you because they've seen you in those spaces. So I would definitely bring that. One other thing I would love to bring is more resources. I think in Douglas County, we have a lot of nonprofits, but I'm starting to realize they don't all work together, right? Everybody's kind of doing their own thing. And I get it, funding wise, and that's your baby, you want to see it grow. But sometimes if we just work together, we can make some real change. So I would love to have more resources. And like I said, like from a defense attorney standpoint, you can't do the same things you would do in a judge, right? As a judge. But I can put conditions on your bond, right? I can say, hey, I understand you were arrested for possession of marijuana, right? And I can say, hey, you can have a drug and alcohol evaluation. But hey, while you do that, tell me what's going on at home. How about you meet one of our social workers and let's try to figure out why you feel like you need to do this all the time. Or if you keep coming back, okay, maybe the drug and alcohol evaluation wasn't enough. Maybe you need some type of treatment program. I feel like if you incorporate those things early on, it doesn't have to be a big issue in the end. Now, don't get me wrong, people are going to do what they're going to do. Some people don't care what you say. They're going to continue to do it, right? But I feel like if you hold them accountable, because everybody still has to be held accountable.
Absolutely.
If you're a judge, that is your job, right? To hold people accountable. But after I'm done addressing your legal issue, let's get down to what's really going on. And that's what I want to bring, because I tell people all the time, when you address that root issue, that root cause, you can really affect change. And I see people until this day that we have all these youth programs in my office right now. And I see kids till this day that I've seen in court out at the gas station, at the mall. And they're like, Ms. Patterson, you don't remember me? You helped me 10 years ago. And guess what? They're in college or they've started a family, and all those things make a difference because somebody actually took the time to listen. So I would love to bring that. Just community and being able to really address the needs of the community is what I really want to see in Douglas County. And I think it's very doable.
Absolutely. I think so too. When you get people with like-mindedness and that just care enough, you can move. I believe that you can move mountains.
I agree.
So absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I do want to, you're part of a sorority. You've been in the community. You've been doing a lot of stuff. So you're that girl. Okay. You're popular. So how do you keep that integrity on the bench? Because of course, with the bench comes just influence, and a lot of people will pull on you.
Yeah.
How do you maintain that integral, yet continue to be professional and personable?
Yeah.
That integral line.
I think when anytime you deal with a situation that's too close, you just can't deal with it, right? Because you want to be fair and impartial. And so for me, I mean, even in situations where in the past where people I know have asked me to represent on certain things, and if I don't agree with it and we're that close, then I don't take the case. And I've been like that. I've been very intentional like that since I've started practicing. And I think it's the same way on the bench. If I know you that much and I know you that deeply, then I can't hear your case. I still have to be fair. And regardless, people can have good intentions and it still not go that way, right? Because it's you know this person, right? I know your family. I know your children. Of course, I'm going to want to be fair and impartial, but I know you.
Right.
It's hard. I think people expect that. They expect you to, okay, she knows me, so I know I'm going to get the best treatment ever because she knows me. No, I still have to be fair. I still have to do my job. So I think when you get down to situations like that, and I also think the people I surround myself with would know better. I mean, like in those close spaces, I don't even think, I think the thing is throughout this process, Leann, I have learned that my village and my community is strong. And so many people believe in me and what I stand for. Listen, one of my friends since I was 14 years old, she lives here. She's been helping me. Her parents came in town to help me with my campaign.
Wow.
From Louisiana. I have too many people that are dependent on me. I have too many people that believe in me. I have to do what's right. I have my daughters that are looking at me, watching everything that I do. I'm preaching these things to them. I have to do the right thing. And so when people ask me that all the time, they're like, oh, don't get up there and embarrass us. You know, we've seen this. And this is just people in the community talking to me. Yeah. And I'm like, and I will say, you know, ma'am, I promise you that is the least thing you would ever have to worry about from me. Embarrassing me and embarrassing you because you supported me, that will never happen. And I stand by that. And I can say that confidently, that when you're a judge, you need to be a judge. Outside of that, you can be your best friend. I can go with you on the community. We can go for walks together. We can talk about anything. But when you're on that bench, you're held to a higher standard. And people expect that. And I tell people all the time, the people of Douglas County deserve that. They deserve that. We should not think of ourselves or see ourselves less than anything just because we're not as big or we're not as fancy. We deserve it. And I cannot expect anything less from myself or anybody else who decides to be in this role.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. That makes my heart feels good because this would take us a whole different direction. But you know, when we put our name on people and we want to go to bat for people, and people are human and we make mistakes, but it's like, you don't just represent yourself. When you go out of this house, and I don't know if we've lost this as people, as we're getting into younger generations, but when you go out of this house, you represent a whole bunch of people. Yeah. Even if you don't care to embarrass yourself, I don't want to go back to home. I don't want to go back to the people that I love. I don't want to go back to people that I supported and have to say I mismanaged.
Yes.
Legacy. So that means a lot. And to hear you say that, thank you so much. I believe trust is a hard thing to build, but it's really, really easy to destroy. And we've seen it over and again. So I'm going to let you have the last words because I respect your time. I thank you so very much for taking the time with me. And whatever happens, however it happens, I definitely want to stay connected and cheer you along and support you in any space that you feel. And so I do want you to tell the people how they can stay connected with you. And like I said, you got the last words. Talk to your voters and tell them you're that girl.
So absolutely. So listen, I am Dondell Patterson, a wife, a mom, and a community advocate and attorney. I am a sports mom. I am a lover of sports. And I am a resident of Douglas County. I am a resident who cares. I believe that people should be treated with the utmost respect. I intend to do that and bring that to the bench. If you want to learn more about me, you can check out my website, dondellfordouglas.com. It's the same on my Instagram as well as my Facebook page. But when you vote for experience, you vote for community, you vote for integrity, and you vote for Dondell Patterson as your next Chief Magistrate Judge. I would love to have your support. Listen, this election is important. We have some important things on the ballot. And I want to see every single registered voter at the polls. We have until Friday for early voting, and we have Election Day on Tuesday, May 19th. And when you go to those polls, you just remember Dondell for Douglas.
I have the privilege of working with Georgia injury attorneys in a capacity that encompasses the community. When you hear about Georgia injury attorneys, it's a familiar face, people that you know that you can trust. We practice litigation, but we live people.
You deserve a law firm that will level the playing field against insurance companies. Call Georgia injury attorneys the people's champs for just compensation and trusted representation.
Thank you so much. Hey, community, we have had another amazing night with some amazing people. Oh my goodness. I'm always just in awe with the people that I just meet and been able to talk to, and I never have enough time. So we'll have to do it again, maybe over lunch, however it happens. I just know there's so much more that you can share with us, and I wish you well in your endeavors.
Yes.
And I'm just super, super excited for you, your girls, your husband, and thank you for being a representation that I can look at and say, I'm proud of her. And
Thank you.
We need more. So thank you so much. Hey guys, this is Loving Leann, and my sponsors tonight, Euthenix Foster Professional Development, where we teach people how to treat people. I am your founder and lead trainer. So if you are looking for someone to come into your organization, your company, your civic organization, your faith-based organization, hey, we work from plain glass to stained glass. If you want to work on enriching and in your interactions with others, this is your girl. I am the heartiologist, and we do the heart work of business. So call on me. Also, I am your red carpet extraordinaire. If you need to pizzazz up your event with a great host, MC, or red carpet host, I am also your girl. Listen to me on one of our sponsors, AEG Radio, on Mondays from 7 to 9 p.m. and on Sundays from 12 to 2 p.m. All that's Eastern Standard Time. You can listen to The Loving Leann Show. And I thank Georgia Injury Attorneys and for just being a major part of my life who just supports me when I call. And also I get to go into the community and represent them as an elite and an integral law firm. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you to Eagle Vision Production back there holding it down for us and always supporting us. Did I forget any of those sponsors and loves? Let me make sure, because I don't want to fumble that ball. So just give me a moment to be imperfect. Yep. I covered everybody. I'm doing better than I thought I was. So thank you so much. So community, we come here and we talk about things that we need to discuss. Right now, we are in a political climate and there's a lot of things at risk. And so I'm never going to tell you how to vote. I'm never going to tell you what to do. What I'm going to tell you is to be alert, to be aware. And you know, if you're listening to Loving Leann, we're a faith-based community. And so I'm trusting that your moral compass and that your heart speaks to injustice, speaks to corruption, all that. So all I say is, hey, you know what? Take time to pray, get some wisdom, some discernment, then go open up the Bible, then open up a book, maybe a good history book, because what's happening is just simply being repeated. But take time to really, really hone in to what's happening I do feel like where we are is a ship. So if you've ever been on a cruise ship, you get on the dock and you're on there and, you're dancing while they're leaving and you don't even realize the boat's leaving and you don't even know the time's passed away and you're deep in the sea. That's kind of how we're moving. Things look slow, gradual, subtle. And then we look up and we're just like, how did we get here? I need you to hone in. I need you to tune in. I need you to wake up. I need you to do your own research. And then I need you to listen to the heart of people. I think that's going to tell you a lot. Here at Euthenics Foster Professional Development, what do I tell decision makers? What do I tell people that hire? Hey, we can teach skill. We cannot teach heart. Always go with heart and then teach the rest. But hey, that's my soapbox, and I just don't have enough time for that. It's been a long day. It's hump day. I hope you've had a good week. I hope the rest of your week is a good one. And stay tuned for the next Communi-Tea. Let me see who wants to talk to me before Tuesday when we go to the polls. But either way, I love you. I'm going to keep loving you. And I just want you to be well in all that you do. So thank you for joining me. This is Loving Leann with Communi-Tea, and you know it. We're out.
I'm loving Leann.
I'm loving Leann.
I'm loving Leann.
I am loving Leann.
I'm loving Leann.